Mr. Weatherby, this ghost really doesn't need any introduction. As soon as we clean him up, I'm sure you'll recognize him. There. Look familiar?
Uncle Stewart!
Like in person. He thought he could scare you into giving up the family fortune.
Welcome to another video. Today we are going to go through the top 10 spookiest monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then we're going to make a deck, see how good it is on the ladder. Now, let's start with number 10, Skull Servant. Skull Servant is just the original spooky boy. He's a little skeleton. His stats aren't that great. He's not that strong, but he can mean trouble in large numbers, and that's a fact to get used to. Alright, well, let's go on to the next card. Number 9, spookiest card. We got Malice Doll Demise. Just look at this art. This is some spooky stuff going on. Now, this effect, pretty irrelevant. If it's sent from the field to the graveyard by a continuous spell effect, you can special summon it from the graveyard. I don't know how we're going to activate that, but you know what? That's not important. Just look at this thing. It's creepy. It's creepy. Alright, let's go on to the next card. Number 8, we got Pumpkin, King of Ghosts. King of Ghosts, just a spooky pumpkin, Halloween themed. I know what you're thinking. And you know what? Some of these cards aren't that spooky. Well, we're getting there. Don't you worry. We're going to be getting to the next spookiest card. Let's go on to number 7. Number 7, it's Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And I know every time you start the game and you activate a search effect, you're afraid. You're feeling fear in your heart. And that fear is because of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It is a zombie. Not everyone knows this. It's a zombie. This girl is not alive. She is a spooky ghost girl. And she's going to spook you out of being able to search for cards or special summon to the field. Alright, well, let's go on to spooky card number 6. Spooky card number 6, we got Foolish Burial. Now, Foolish Burial, you send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. What monster? You see your opponent activate this? You're feeling afraid. They could be sending anything. They could even be sending the next spookiest card on our list. Number 5, Water Enchantress of the Temple. Now, this waifu may not look spooky in appearance, but what's spooky is what happens after this effect resolves. You get to start your adventure engine going. You get a negate. You get a bounce to hand. You get 4,000 attack of damage. That makes this one spooky waifu. Alright, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 spooky card. We got Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Nothing feels worse than when your beautiful billion attack monster that you spent 10,000 years comboing to get turns into a turtle. This turtle just instills fear. He instills fear, and there's nothing you can do to stop him. Turtle mode, activate. Alright, let's go on to the number 4 spookiest card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 4, we got Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. Now, this card's been banned almost everywhere, but not in Master Duel. This spooky little snack is gonna steal your monsters or summon an amazing, super powerful, extremely scary extract monster. That's number 3 on our list. Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer is number 3. The spooky boy just won't stop coming back from the graveyard. Every time you destroy him, he just comes back. He pops more things. Someone resolves this, your hope level goes from super high to super low. Once this guy's on the field, you're spooked. It's a spook instiller. Alright, let's go on to spooky card number 9. Number 9, we got Super Polymerization. You can use this card, discard a card, fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response. Once your opponent super polys, you know bad things are happening. Your monsters are going to turn into an amazing monster on your opponent's side of the field, and you can't even activate effects in response to stop the super poly. This is just the spookiest thing that could happen, except my number 1 spookiest card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's right, it's Jerry Beansman. Nah, I'm kidding. It's not Jerry Beansman. He's adorable and he's a hero. Our spookiest card is the Maxi. As soon as opponent activates Maxi, the game is over, making this the spookiest card in Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's combine our cards together and make an amazing deck and take it to the ladder and see how many wins we can get. Alright, here is the spooky list that I prepared for this little spooky Halloween special. Make sure to check out the gameplay. We'll see how well this deck does, and we'll have a little discussion at the end of the video. Alright, let's get going after I've gone through the full list. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. More quality content upcoming. Maybe even another giveaway. Alright, let's go.
Oh, that's good. I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's get going with the spookiest deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Other spooky things, we got our spooky little pet here, and our opponent is playing Red Raptors going first. Other spooky things, we got the garbage field. Our cards are going to get dirty because we're not using card sleeves. This is just the spookiest way to play. Opponent also playing spooky cards with the Phantom Knights. Now, taking a look at our hand here, pretty solid. We got the Right, we got the Call by the Grave, we got the Foolish Burial. Let's hope we didn't forget anything. Opponent is gonna wombo combo probably for a while, doing Raid Raptor combos. Not something I've seen before in Ranked. Now, Raid Raptor's a pretty old archetype. They're gonna make some XZ monsters, and I think Raid Raptor's got Link support. And you see it right here. Raid Raptor Wise Strix. Gonna special summon Dark Beast from the deck. Special summon another 4 Strix. We'll see what sort of board our opponent ends with, and then we'll see how our spooky deck can handle it. Opponent rank up XZing into an arsenal. This can special summon a level 4 Winged Beast monster from the deck. Very interesting. You could use that to get a barrier statue. Opponent almost done summoning, and there we go. We got beautiful end board here from our opponent. A Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon, unaffected by other card effects, can detach a material to make all monsters lose 1,000 attack and stop us from activating cards or effects. So that is a only on their turn effect. So luckily for us, once we turn to the end phase, they can reduce our attack and inflict 1,000 damage to us if we control no monsters. So we got to get rid of this, and we got to find a way to get rid of this. Other cards on the field, opponent has the Wise Strix and the Raid Raptor Revolution Falcon. I believe this card, yeah, if it's destroyed by a card and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Revolution Falcon from your extra deck and attach this card to it as a material. So this thing floats. It comes back. Let's see how the spooky deck can handle it. Let's start with the Lightning Storm. Pop that back row. Opponent had a Raid Raptor Nest they were using to special summon monsters, and they had a Phantom Knights rank up Magic Force, would potentially let them banish monsters from their graveyard, target an XZ monster, and special summon an extra deck monster. We don't want any mysterious extra deck monsters popping up, so let's start by summoning Jerry Beans Man from the deck, our spooky monster. And let's summon the second Jerry Beans Man to get our Fateful Adventure going. You get the Griffin Rider. Gonna attach that Drakaback, and let's bounce that XZ monster so its destruction effect doesn't activate. And let's use Link Spider and use another Link Spider, and we're gonna try our best to get rid of this monster with super beefy attack points. And the way we know how to do that is Super Poly, spook our opponent by stealing 2 of their monsters, making a Starving Venom fusion, and Starving Venom, when it's summoned, can gain the attack of an opponent's monster from the extra deck, and that is big enough to get through, hitting our opponent down to 500 life points. Now, I made a mistake here. Probably should have summoned the Griffin Rider before making the Verte and activating, because once you activate Verte, you can't summon any more monsters. We could have done an additional 2,000 damage and had our negate online before our opponent's main phase. Now we got to wait till our opponent's main phase to summon the Griffin Rider, which means they get to activate an effect for free. Hopefully, it's not too impactful. Opponent activating to try and special summon that 4 Strix. Let's banish. Special summon our Griffin Rider, so we got another negate online. So far, the spook is looking good. Our opponent looking spooked, but they're not giving up. Opponent setting a bunch of back row, and this is very spooky. We got to be careful here. Now, we still got our Predaplan of Anaconda Verte, and I would like very much to summon a DPE, maybe pop some of this back row, but unfortunately, we forgot to include a monster in our deck list. We accidentally spooked ourselves too hard, so we can't activate because we don't have the DPE. So we're going to use the effect to change a monster's type because we couldn't summon the DPE. So, you know what? We'll fix that. We'll come back in the next game with a proper deck list where we can summon DPE. But for now, we're just going to bounce that card to hand, get attacking. Now, opponent activating Raid Raptor Read Lines. This card can activate in the graveyard to take no battle damage this turn. Now, opponent still has 2 cards on the field, so I'm a little worried that if I activate to negate this, opponent might have some sort of, crazy effect. Maybe they got Mirror Force or something. We got to keep our negate online, so we're just going to pass to our opponent, give them 1 more turn. We got Max C, so we can maybe spook them even more. Opponent summoning the Vanishing Lanus. We're going to counter the effect, negate the effect to special summon from the deck, but opponent's card was a hidden droplet. Hidden Droplet gonna spook us, negating our monster effect. Now we can activate Maxi in response. Opponent sent a Call by the Grave to the graveyard, but we're in trouble. Opponent is able to summon, and we only have 5,000 life points left, and we got some very vulnerable monsters on the field here. If we had the DPE, this would be no trouble at all. We could pop whatever opponent's making, and we'd be doing great. But opponent has Raiders Knight, and they're gonna rank up. We got the Pumpkin King in hand. I don't think it's gonna be enough to spook our opponent. Arc Rebellion XZ Dragon gonna gain attack points equal to all the monsters on the field, and looks like we're the ones getting spooked. All right. Well, you know what? We had a little bit of a deck building gremlin come in, maybe make some changes to our deck list, but that's okay. We'll fix it, and then we'll come back for another game. All right, we're not gonna let a little mistake stop us. We're gonna come back with an even spookier deck with the DP package online. Now let's start by summoning a Skull Servant from the deck. You know our opponent is getting spooked already. Now everyone knows Skull Servant can mean trouble in large numbers. So let's start by making that adventure token, and then summon a second Skull Servant. Searching for the Dracoback. Gonna activate Fateful Venture to search for a second Griffin Rider. Discarding the Dracoback, that makes it go back to the field and attach to our token. That's some free value. Let's special summon the Griffin Rider, and now we got the deck working properly. Let's make a Spooky Spider. Make a second Spooky Spider. And we can make the Spooky Snake Anaconda Verte. And now that we got the right cards on our deck, let's make the DPE. Send in that Fusion Destiny to the graveyard. Send in that Denier we'd forgotten about before. Poor Denier. Let's make the Spooky Destiny Hero. And we got Adventure Engine, we got Poppage. Let's see what our opponent can do here. And our opponent spooking us with the Lava Golem. Alright, looks like we're the ones getting spooked now. Lava Golem gonna destroy our two monsters. We'll send them both to the graveyard. DP offline, Wandering Griffin Rider offline. Luckily, we got a second one. Let's special summon him. Try and get negates online. Opponent gonna Polymerization. Make a Masquerade. This is what we were afraid of. Meta deck, Despians. Making a Masquerade Blazing Dragon. Despian Tragedy gonna activate. We're gonna hold on to our negate here. We're saving the negate. We're gonna be careful. Adlib Tim, gonna summon the Despian Tragedy to the field. Opponent activating Brand of Fusion, and we are gonna negate that Brand of Fusion. Not something we want to see. Pay that 600 life points, negate with the Griffin Rider. That goes to the graveyard. Opponent gonna battle. Attack our token. Big mistake, opponent. Fateful Venture protects our token. That's why it's so spooky. Alright, now we're the ones with the spooky Lava Golem. Now, our opponent is making us pay 600 life points to activate the effect of Lava Golem to burn us. Now, that is extremely disrespectful. Let's activate our Snek, spook our opponent by fusioning both their monsters into a Starving Venom Dragon. That's some spook. Quality spook. Now, once again, should probably have activated Fateful Venture, summoned the Griffin Rider before doing that. But, you know what? Sometimes mistakes are made. Let's activate the effect of the Dracoback. Bounce that Masquerade back to hand. Now we can search for the Griffin Rider, but we can't summon him because of the Verte. We did save ourselves some life points by doing it that way, so maybe it was the right thing to do. Now let's get attacking. Hope our opponent's last card can't save him, and looks like opponent's getting beat down by their own Lava Golem. Alright, opponent, get spooked. Let's go on to the next spooky game. Alright, let's see if we can spook our opponent again. Now we got the fixed deck list with the Denier. Opponent starting by activating Dimension Shifter, and you know Dimension Shifter can mean only one thing. Spooky birds. But we got the spookiest Skull Servant. Gotta activate that unexpected die before summoning any monsters to the field. Let's special summon the Water Enchantress in order to get the search from the Fateful Venture for the equip spell, and opponent Ash Blossoming probably thought we were searching for the Griffin Rider here. So, bit of a mistake. Opponent playing the spooky Ash Blossom. But we're okay. We're okay. We can still do it. Let's search for the Griffin Rider. Special summon him to the field. Discard that Feather Duster. Don't think it's going to get much use here. And we don't want to get rid of our Denier. Now, I was worried because I'm not sure how this works. Let me know in the comments if you know. Does Dimension Shifter stop Anaconda Verte from activating? Anaconda Verte's effect, you have to send a spell to the graveyard to activate it. Can we activate Verte through a Dimension Shifter to summon DPE? I'm not sure. Well, we won't find out now because I didn't try it. Opponent activating a Floundery's map. Now we're going to just negate that. Sometimes they only have a few little birds. We're going to hope they don't have all the little birds. And we're going to stop that map. If we let map resolve, that's going to be a bad time. So map gets negated here. And opponent summoning a little bird. If they have another little bird, we're going to be in trouble. Fateful Adventure going to activate. Opponent Ash Blossoming again. Does not want us getting that equip spell. Get that spooky Ash into the banish zone. Flounderies and Eagling going to search for the M-Pen now. Does opponent have another bird? They're going to battle. Attacking our Skull Servant. The spooky boy is banished. Alright, very disrespectful opponent. We're trying to spook you, but you're spooking us. Now let's activate the Griffin Rider. Get him on the field. Activate the effect of the Faithful to get that Draco back. And now we can also search for the Griffin Rider. Discard the Draco back. Activate, attach to our token. Bounce a card to the hand. Let's get rid of that trap. Summon the Denier. And opponent is done. Does not want to see it. Alright, we spooked them. We spooked those birds right out of here. Alright, let's do one more game. Then I'll show you the fixed deck list. Alright, now we got a great spooky hand. We're going to spook our opponent all the way to doing nothing. Opponent just setting 2. Maybe they felt our max C. And opponent gonna max C us. Well, opponent, we're not gonna let your max C resolve. We're gonna spook your max C with an Ash Blossom, and opponent gonna negate. And now we're gonna negate the max C a second way with the call by. So opponent no max C. Now it does mean our max C can't be used on their turn, but that's okay. I think we'll be okay. We got the spooky card here, Foolish Burial. We're going to send the spookiest waifu straight to the graveyard. Once this chain resolves, let's activate Foolish Barrel, send the waifu to the graveyard, and now we can activate and get the spooky adventure engine online. Let's get spooking. Right at Erismere. Gonna activate, get us the token, get us that Fateful Adventure. Now, Maxi's offline during our opponent's next turn, so we're going to have to discard a card here. Let's discard that Maxi. Summon the Griffin Rider. Bounce that monster to hand with the effect of the Dracoback. And get attacking for 4,000 damage. Not bad. Now, Super Poly needs to discard a card, so we can't set both and have him be activatable. So let's hold the Super Poly in hand, set that Imperm, and hope for the best here. Opponent playing Despians, activating a Polymerization. Gonna Poly their hand, make a Lubellion, but they don't have a card to discard. Let's negate the effect of the Despian Tragedy, making it so our opponent doesn't have a card in hand to discard. And the other reason we're doing that is if we let Griffin Rider stay on the field, our opponent can attack over it with the Lubellion and we'll lose our negate. So let's get that Griffin Rider out of here. Negate the effect of the Tragedy. Opponent making a Verte Anaconda. Now probably the right thing to do is just activate Imperm to negate. Let's negate that Verte. Stop our opponent from getting the Branded Fusion effect. So opponent's just left with a Spooky Snake and 2,000 life points left. And back to our turn. I think we got him. Spooked out of the game. Let's send that Snake back to the hand and attack for 2,000. Alright. Very cool. Alright, let's show off the fixed deck list. Alright, here is the spooky deck list. We got every card to spook your opponent out of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is this deck fun? Yes. Is it fair? That's up for you to decide. We got some of the spookiest cards around. Now, some extra cards in the extra deck that I didn't get to use, but definitely will spook your opponent. If you get 2 Jerry Beans Man on the field, you can make a Nightmare Shark, attack directly, and then make a Zeus. That's sure to spook your opponent if they're not spooked by the rest of this deck. Other spooky techs, we got Relinquished Anima. Skull Servant is a level 1 monster, so you can special summon Relinquished Anima. If your opponent accidentally summons a monster to the front of the link zone, you can use the Relinquished Anima to steal it. Very cool, very fun. Unfortunately, not something we got to do in this gameplay video. Maybe try it out yourself and see if you can spook your opponent, steal their monsters. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.